50 years, nearly 6 months. They sang at my wedding, and which was very nice, and I came back with my daughter when she was 11 days old, and she sat in a pram and rocked all the while I was there for months.
Derby is Rolls-Royce. We've got lots of other engineering companies, but you mentioned Derby, everybody says Rolls-Royce.
The company used to be most famous for its luxury cars, but that all ended in the early 70s. Today, Rolls-Royce cars are actually made by BMW. The company's real heritage is aircraft engines. In fact, they've powered some of the world's most iconic aircraft, from Second World War fighter planes and the Harrier jump jet to the much-loved Concorde. And that heritage continues today, powering helicopters, business and military jets, and even ships. But the star product is the pioneering family of Trent jet engines, including the newest Trent 1000 for the Boeing Dreamliner. All the Trent engines are designed for jumbo-style wide-bodied airliners, like Boeing's 777 and the famous Airbus Super Jumbo. But this engine, for the Airbus 330, is the biggest seller of all. In 15 years, the Trent 700 has clocked up 13 million flying hours.
It's a massive machine, but it's a real piece of precision engineering too.
Weighing at least 5 tons, each Trent engine is worth several times its weight in silver. Only 2 companies in the world are capable of building engines this good.
It's a very tough competition between one of the most powerful and competitive companies in the world in General Electric. If you look at all the latest new technology aircraft, all have selected Rolls-Royce engines to power the first flight.
It carries a payload of 242 tons at 37,000 feet for 9,500 miles, which, as you can imagine, is a serious challenge for any technology to deliver. So it really is at the high end of manufacturing and assembly. And I often describe what we do as producing things of beauty.
But the popularity of the Trent 700 is also the factory's biggest challenge. With orders placed to build 400 new engines, the company has to produce at least 4 a week. For their production line, one of the most complex in the world, time is big money. Each Trent engine is built from modules, 8 separate sections which are put together on the assembly line. But each module is made from thousands and thousands of components. And the monumental task of gathering them starts here at their massive parts warehouse.
On average, with my pedometer, I average about 8 miles a day on an average day, but if we have lots and lots of issues, my best is just under 16 miles in a day. Lots and lots of shoe leather used.
Kevin Carr's job is to make sure every engine part is delivered to the assembly line on time.
I do know the guys around here say, you know, you just give me a part number, show me a box, and I can tell you what it is and where it goes. Everything's footprinted, ready for the guys. It's a bit like a sweet shop for them. They can pick and choose what they want. We supply the very first nut, bolt or washer that they fit, right up to the very last little bit of plastic that we put on the engine before it goes out the door to the customer. So that could be anything up to 30,000, 40,000 parts, depending on which engine it is.
It's Kev who kicks off every new engine build. 2 days before the assembly begins, he triggers the dispatch of tens of thousands of parts from the warehouse.
Have we got all the bits there for it?
Yes.
Got all the paperwork?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're all ready to go then. Okay, thanks very much, Tom. Looking at the boxes, you wouldn't know, but just looking at the odds and sods that are lying on the floor, there's nothing under £1,000. You've got the engine control management unit, roughly £750,000 worth in that box, just sitting there on a pallet. Anything up to £200 million worth of stock on the shelf. We have roughly 5 engines worth of stock of anything.
Some of the components that make this engine what it is were designed and built by some of Britain's most skilled and innovative engineers at Rolls-Royce. Nestling in the Lancashire Hills, 100 miles north of Derby, Barn Oldswick is where the first ever jet engines were developed by Sir Frank Whittle. And today this small community